Welcome back to All Right Podcast here. You have Elijah alongside Grant. We're going to switch it up a little bit here. You're going to dive into, Michigan basketball. We are, coming around the final lap here, end of the season. It's got to call it what it is. We're kind of fighting for our lives here. We are probably on the outside looking in as far as the tournament currently goes, maybe right at the door. We need 4 games left. Rutgers, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana, 3 of which are on the road. We're going to have to, bare minimum, you probably need to go 500 on these. But, I kind of want to throw it over to you. Just the state of
Yeah,
the season so far. I know we haven't brought this up in a while, but,
yeah,
kind of what we talked about before, just a roller coaster of it all. Now we can, maybe catch our groove here a little bit in the end and kind of correct some things.
yeah. No, I mean, that's like hit it right on the head. As far as just where we're kind of standing with things. I mean, I think it's just tough. I feel like I obviously can't change earlier in the season, but I feel like I think more about just all the opportunities we had to, we had, Iowa on the ropes down in Iowa. We had Wisconsin. We held them without a field goal for about 10 minutes and still found a way to lose that game. Um, dropped a couple games to some blue bloods. I feel like, even though they may have been having down seasons, it still would have looked good just from a resume standpoint. Like you beat North Carolina, you beat, Kentucky or even like Virginia. Like I think Virginia is still like a top 10 team right now. I just think from here, man, like you said, they really just kind of dig in, look at themselves in the mirror and just, do try to do what they can to get into that tourney. It's unfortunate that the Big Ten overall has been pretty weak this year as well. Um, but I think, like you said, they got to go, at least 3-1. I say at worst 2-2. They definitely can't go 1-3 or drop. We don't want to discuss them dropping all four. That really just be the nail in the coffin overall. But yeah, I mean, I like what you've been. I guess to kind of look past like the record and everything. You like to see what Doug McDaniel's doing. Kobe Buffkin has kind of seemed to start to figure it out. Jet Howard, I mean, I think that's kind of been a reason why he's been inconsistent even more of late, just because he's been a little injured here and there. Um, you like to at least see like that core starting to come in, play a little bit better. I'm still pretty critical of Dickinson. I feel like he's just likes to, play more to the crowd and such than actually focus on the game sometimes. And I do kind of put a couple of these losses on his shoulders this overall during the season.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Just to, kind of keying on that, I would say I think he is kind of this year in particular leaned into the antics a little more in
Yeah.
general. Calling out guaranteed victories on podcasts, showing up in, ski mask games, then and all of that type of stuff. The various hand signs he does on the court. I just say all of that. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't enjoy some of it when we're rolling and we're looking good and we're a top 10
Right.
team. But it looks like the clown show when we're fighting for our lives for a tournament run. Some things just don't look good on a bad team. And some things you can get away with a little bit more. I mean, you could say it's part of your swag if you're a top 10, top 15 team and you're chugging along with a real shot at winning it all. Which is
Yeah.
why you're here. Why you come back for your 3rd year in a row. If you're him, that's he has accomplished a lot in the Big Ten and doesn't really have a whole lot to show for. I don't think he has a Final Four under his belt. A couple, maybe a one cold Big Ten championship. But as far as steamrolling and being one of the best Big Ten centers, which he really is, he hasn't really leaned into that. But as a whole for the team, it's very inconsistent. And
Right.
that's our biggest problem is just we can't seem to put it together for a string of games or even 2 halves sometimes. It's just very sometimes hard to watch. But all that being said, we have had some blue blood backs against the ropes. We have had good Big Ten teams this year, whether it
Right.
was Iowa. I think we ended up blowing it in overtime, and so I don't think it was necessarily a 1 or 2 point loss. I think it turned out like a
11.
7 or 8 point loss,
Yeah.
but still overtime loss there. The Indiana a couple weeks back where you pointed out that we went scoreless like 6 minute stretch in that one, lost by a point or two. I think we lost by a point or two to Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
All that type of stuff. Let's not talk about losing to the chips. We can't even. That's just inexcusable if we have the worst Michigan team of all time. That still shouldn't happen. So I would say, all of that is just not being focused at the task on hand. But, looking at this here, all these teams are within striking distance of really where we are. I think we are under all of these teams other than Wisconsin, as far as our remaining schedule, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana. Other than Wisconsin, all of them are ranked ahead of us in the Big Ten. So if any of these wins are technically good wins for us and should help our tournament resume, which is all we're looking to do here. Just add as many chips to the board as possible. I'm sure
Right.
when they start talking about the quadrant 1, quadrant 2, 3, 4 victories, we don't got many of them. And I think this would be 3 teams that we could probably add on to that list um, um, that are ahead of us. And, so like I said, I would really like to go 3-1 in here. You got to get the one at home versus Wisconsin. I would like to see, personally, just looking at it, I think Indiana / Rutgers have the best record with overall, like 17-10 and 19-8.
Yeah.
I think you got to kind of look to get those victories, something that's going to mean something as well. But
Right.
I don't know. It's looking scarce here. Just one more thing. I found a little website. I don't remember, not be able to cite them, but 23% chance currently to make the tournament. So that is less than flip of a coin here. So
Yeah.
we got to start putting these chips on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I don't know. Like I said, we already kind of just chatted about it. I think the tough part about it is like, yeah, I was just like, I don't really know if this team is like good or bad, But then you see all of these just consecutive, we're just finding ways to not get a shot up at the end of games. We're finding ways to go scoreless. We're finding ways to hold the other team scoreless, but like not doing our part to, come out with that victory. And obviously too, we lost a guy, Llewellyn. He was kind of struggling to start out, come out the gate. So I don't know how much of a difference that would have made, but anytime you go from like a senior, like a grad transfer to a freshman, I mean that definitely takes a little bit into account of just some of the struggles I think they ran into as a team. And give Doug Dale all the credit though. I mean, he's played great.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like the last half of this, season. So I think from here, man, I mean, we're talking about them, just right now, just from a regular season standpoint, like beating these guys. Now it's also going to have to be that tournament, to where I think we're like tied for fourth right now. I don't really remember how it kind of coincides with, I think they have like a bye, double bye. I think we might be in that situation, get a bye. I think that's essentially having to play like Thursday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So hopefully we can at least get to like Friday. I think Saturday is like semis. Sunday ends up being like the Big Ten championship. So you're gonna have to at least, if you can get Indiana, that's a ranked team, at least they're ranked right now, and then try to get obviously win them all. But hopefully we can have an opportunity to have a couple like ranked teams in the way that we can maybe knock one of them off to give just to really bolster that schedule, bolster that resume. Because I feel like the schedule. I mean, I think we have like the 34th, 35th, like 40th best schedule in the country. So it's not, it's not like super hard and it's not like terrible. But I think if we can I feel like the magic number would be like 19 wins. We can go like 19-14, 19-15, something like that. I feel like we could at least position ourselves. Like Blue Bloods got in with that type of record. Yeah. So I feel like we can, position ourselves to at least have a shot at that first 4 in. Kind of playing on like the preliminary round to get into the tourney.
Right. Like, yeah, I agree with those statements. So looking at it here, it's currently 15-12. Let's just say we can find a way to, thug it out and get 3-1 in that little stretch. So we have 18 and 13 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Into the tournament, you can win the 2 games, call it. You're at 20-14.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, right in that ballpark. Or if you win 1 game, you're at 19-14. So I think both of those are veering in the right direction. You just gotta, you can't be that close to the margin there of that 500. You gotta separate yourself, and I think a lot of these teams in front of us are tournament quality teams, and you have to prove you can compete with them game in and game out, because that's what they're looking for, is to put the best team, most competitive games out there. And I also think it's something about putting it together late. We just beat State. That's a good win. State obviously isn't having the greatest season ever, but they're fighting. similar ballpark as us, and for us to go ahead and get that dub versus them, they have a couple very good victories under their belt.
Yeah.
They're getting it done more consistently than we are, but we got that victory under us, and if we can kind of build on that momentum and keep that going with
Mhm.
these next couple of games here, I think that also the tournament I forgot, like panel would kind of put that into play a little bit as well. Like, okay, since February, they are, 7-3 or whatever,
Right.
versus, whatever that might look like if we let the wheels completely fall off. So I
Yeah.
think, riding on that momentum of that state game, although they aren't having the greatest year themselves, they have a better tournament resume than we currently do. And,
Mhm.
and that would be one of our better victories. So,
Yep.
that'd be,
Yeah. And I think, I don't know. I mean, you look at, that happens quite often. I mean, I always feel like there's one team that, is kind of struggling, like almost like limping into the tourney, and they just kind of find a way to turn it on when once that conference tourney starts. And you never know. I mean, this is the beautiful part of college basketball. This is my favorite part of college basketball. We're getting into that, late February, early March time frame where, they just got to find a way. I mean, I think as simple as that. I mean, once again, just kind of looking back at the schedule, they already beat Rutgers. You can get them again. It's going to be a tough, environment. Having to go over there, but they already lost Wisconsin on the road, so you showed that you could at least shut them out for about a good, half of, about a good portion of a half. Was trying to get the job done there, and then Illinois. I mean, I feel like they've got kind of been the media more of just kind of being one of those dysfunctional teams. They got all these transfers, kind of tried to piece together something to where they got a little bit of a better record too. Like Big Ten has overall has been like average. So like I think all these games are winnable. It's
yeah,
just a matter of like who's gonna show up, what Michigan team gonna show up. The one that can, that blew out Northwestern, the second best team, quote unquote, in the conference, right now from like a record standpoint, we're gonna get the one that, was stuck on 61 against Indiana for about a good 5 to 6 minutes left in the game. So yeah, I mean, it kind of comes down to, just trying to lock in and just be consistent as possible for these next couple of weeks, and then just preparing yourself, for that tourney.
yeah. And just looking, I think I think we kind of hinted on it a little bit, but I think the team is in an interesting spot. I think we fought through a decent amount of injuries,
Yeah.
and we have kind of had like a vacuum of transfers out of our program, players that we thought we were going to be able to build on. You brought up the Julius before we started recording. Frankie Collins is another one. Those are
Yeah.
back-to-back point guards that should technically both be on the team right now. That should
Right.
be our 1-2 punch out of the backcourt. But instead, they're each doing their thing at different schools,
Yeah.
both Power Five teams. I think one's at Arizona State, one's at Cincy. You look at players, obviously, Caleb Houston, things like that entered the draft maybe slightly too early. All of that coincides to what's currently happening, but lots of teams deal with those type of issues. I just think
Right.
we have to find a way to really just I would say I like our young players on the team as well. We just have to find a way to make it gel more and kind of
Mhm.
be able to still spread the floor out with the big guys that we have. Whether it's Reed, who looks like he's going to be very good. Some of those plays he made for a state, very impressive. That block,
Killing it.
um, that block right on the baseline when he like kind of tipped it to himself afterwards, and that's a very athletic play for a guy nearing 7 foot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
looks like Ben Wallace at the free throw line, but that's a whole nother story. Got a lot of time to
Yeah.
work on that.
Right.
But in general, I like what I see with him. I like Doug McDaniel. Lots of positive signs with that. So I just think I don't know. It's not too late, but make it all gel right away, and hopefully, Hunter Dickinson wants to put the team on his back, and he can make us get to a tournament run.
Agree.
There's not a doubt in my mind that if he wants to go out and get a 20-10 game, he has that in him every single night. That should be damn near second nature at this point. He was doing that 3 years ago as a freshman. So,
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And that was just really gonna be mine. I feel like I know we ain't been talking about him a lot, but I feel like I've been pretty hard on Dickinson just because you watch it. I mean, Wisconsin game coming in with the ski mask on, he's yelling back and forth to the crowd. They're, this is where they're holding Wisconsin almost no points. And he went up there and missed the easy hook shot that he always hits, missed a couple free throws. Like now it's the time to just kind of lock in, let the crowd do what they do, don't feed into that so much, and just really, this is critical. Like, this is really, you you're your junior year, got 1 year left. You fighting with the possibility of, these last couple of years you've been the Elite Eight, Sweet 16. You're fighting with the possibility of, being in this, I think the CBI or the NIT. So, I'll be honest, I don't know how much I'm watching them in the NIT or the CBI, but you got an opportunity to be able to, 7-8 games, win 7-8 in a row, and just, at least go out swinging and give yourself an opportunity come selection Sunday to, sneak in that first four out or first four in, or, have a higher seed and maybe be able to, be one of them teams that knocks off one of them 3-4 seeds that, everybody expected to advance. So
I agree.
that's
I agree. And one last thing I'm gonna say is I don't care if we get the number one overall seed in NIT. I ain't watching that shit. Like,
that's gonna be hard.
Yeah, I just say I'd rather play it at that first game in or whatever, that not even a real tournament game. I'd rather be in that one.
I'd rather them get into that, and I'm just gonna call it what it is. I'd rather them get into that and mess around and lose to some great mid-major team than to be the 1 seed, still playing at Chrysler mid-March.
Yeah.
Playing against all these other teams that just had crazy super down years.
We'll be gonna hang up the NIT banner. No, get out of here. We gonna...
Yeah, don't even bring that in the gym. Don't even bring that to it.
No, that's doing. But no, no, you got anything else for people?
Oh, so I got. I guess I'll say one thing. We don't get too much to the recruiting side of the house, but George Washington III, Papa Conte, both 4 stars, help us on the way. So we can, we talked about before he hopped on with, Buffkin. I know he's been getting a lot more hype, and the NBA is like to snag anybody, everybody. Tell they tell everybody they have.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can kind of get some of these guys to, stay in and just kind of recoup some of that. Like you said, we had a lot of attrition, a lot of guys graduating, a lot of guys transfers. We can get a couple guys to probably gonna lose Jet. Sure, Hunter will stay back. We can keep Kobe, Doug, get these other guys in there. Everybody got a whole another year of experience. Hopefully we can, spin the block next season and really come for some heads.
No, sure. I agree. And we'll be back at it next week with a little bit of, Detroit Lions talk, free agency hyping up, more draft talk. And we'll be back in. Peace.